Well, this is all going rather well. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Ah, I'm half asleep. Nothing new there. I'm tired, and but I'm here. I'm here, and ready to just chill with you and just chat. Just chat away. Put the world to rights if we possibly can. What do you reckon the chances of that are? I hope you're all well. I hope you've all had a good week, and I hope you're keeping warm. My God, guys, I got in my car this afternoon, and it was actually it was this evening. I was taking my son out for a meal, and got in the car, and it was -3, -3. Now, normally over here, we don't get the really cold weather until after Christmas, but this year it's here already. So either we're going to have a very mild spring, I'm hoping, which starts in February, or we're in for a hell of a winter. No idea what's going to happen. So, I've had a busy week. I hope you've all had, have you all had a busy week? Um, who have we got in here at the moment? We got Moosey. Hi, Moosey. And Barley. Hi, Barley. Hope everyone is doing excellent. On your mama's community post, I wrote a poem. Oh, for Breezy. Okay. I think I wrote it well. Jan, you will like it. And Edna too, I think. Okay. Maybe we'll pop over and see that because as you know, I like a bit of poetry myself. Um, yeah, I haven't written any sort of meaningful poetry for quite some time. I mean, I can sling a few words together, a few sentences together, and make them rhyme, but I haven't written any sort of really meaningful poetry for, for quite a long time. So I've got nothing lined up really. I thought maybe we could have a look at the at our friend Dr. Narcissist, if nothing else. But we'll wait until a few more people come in to see what they might want to do. Um, I've got uveitis again, trying to catch it in its early stages because it's a pain in the neck. And but it's hard. The doctor's here. Honestly, you're wasting your time being ill over here. I'll tell you that for nothing. You just can't get in to see a doctor. So anyway, I phoned up today to just to see if I can get the eye drops that I know I need because I've had it plenty of times and I know what I need. So yeah, I finally got someone to I finally spoke to a doctor and she said, "Yeah, we'll put it into your local pharmacy. You can go ahead and get it now." And so I jumped in my car, freezing cold, went to the surgery and they didn't have it in. I thought, you know, I'll just give up. Just give up. So I've got to go tomorrow. Great stuff. Hi, Edna. Hope you're well, darling. I'll put the link in. Okay. Hi, Bea. How are you, darling? I hope you're well. And we've got Bridge. Oh, you're watching a video with a psychologist talking about Andrew Tate and his narcissism. Okay, that sounds good. Right, if you want to come up, Bridge and Ed, and Edna, you're very welcome. Come up, keep me company. We can chat about anything. Can chat about this Andrew Tate. I don't know a great deal about him lately, lately, ever. So it'd be quite interesting to find out about him if you fancy that, Bridge. Um, and who else did I see? Barley. Uh, yeah. How are you, sweetie? Are you good? Um, right. She's outside waiting for her shuttle to take me home. Okay, how long do you think you'll be before you get home? Let me know when you're home and then just jump on if you fancy it. I mean, if you don't fancy it, don't worry. But does anyone know anything about this Andrew Tate? Moosey says he's a Fruit Loop. Aren't we all, though? Yeah, you got to have a little bit of bit of a loop going on with your fruits, haven't you? I don't know why I'm laughing. I think I'm laughing because I'm exhausted, guys. So we'll get Edna up. We'll see if she's more awake than I am. All you know is that he's bald and he's mean. Is he? Okay. Okay, your shuttle doesn't come for another 20 minutes. Oh, okay. Okay, so let's ask Edna if she knows anything about Andrew Tate. Hi, Edna. How are you, darling?
Hi, Jen. Hello, everyone. I don't know anything about Andrew Tate.
No, I don't. I, I, I think I've heard of him. I've heard of him. Like when I'm on Twitter or something, I've seen the name. But who is he? Who is he? And he's very misogynistic. Oh, I see. Well, we'll get on very well with him then, won't we? We don't like misogynistics over here, do we? To
Thought
be
he
honest.
was no, not at all. But I was just thinking, I've heard several things about him. If I'm thinking of the same guy, like wasn't he some type of like MMA fighter or something like that? He's had like a couple of different. Does he have a podcast? Is this who I'm talking
Okay,
about, or who I'm thinking about?
let's check him out, shall we? Right. Edna,
I
can
think
you
he
see
was.
me? Can you see me
Oh, go
playing in
ahead.
the leaves? Can you see
I
my?
can't.
Can you
It's
see me?
freezing. We haven't even had a true autumn. It's like gone straight to winter. It feels like.
Yeah. Yeah, it has here. Can everybody tell me if they can see me playing in the leaves? And I'll tell you why, because once I swapped over my aviator on here or avatar on here, and
Okay.
when I when I watched the video back, I wasn't there. I was really upset. I just had like this thing. So please tell me if you can see me playing in the leaves. That'd make me
Yes, we
happy.
can see you.
Good. Right, so we're gonna take a look at Andrew Tate. Okie doke. That'll give us something to do. Right. Okie dokie. Present. Here we
If
go.
we're looking for something to talk about, I don't think we ever really finished the narcissism or the narcissist like chat that the doctor was going over in
I
the
know, and
previous
I've still got that up. I did have that sort of lined up, but
Okay.
shall we just read a little bit about him first?
Sure.
See what he's about and right, yeah, see I recognize him. I've seen him. Right, so let's say Emery, his name is Emery Andrew Tate the third, born in 1986, is that? Is an American
Okay.
British media personality, businessman, and former professional kickboxer. Okay.
Oh,
Oh, right.
kickboxing. Okay.
He went to Luton Sixth Form College. Luton is about, it's not that far from me, actually. Luton, I'd say, is probably 15 miles away from me. It's not far at all. So it says here, why is Andrew Tate so popular? Okay, let's have a gander. Uh, right, Tate was a kickboxing world champion 4 times. Okay, but it was
Hmm.
online where he found worldwide fame. He's appeared in countless videos flaunting an ultra luxurious lifestyle of fast cars, private jets, and yachts. Uh, that's not really told us very much about him, though, has it? So he was a world
No.
champion kickboxer. Um, he flaunts his wealth. Okay, is that it then? Uh,
I feel like I heard a lot about around him and just like negative views towards women and dating, just like I don't know, like I feel like I might be lumping him in with like red pill or just like passport bros. It's like guys that don't like American women, so they want to go overseas and find more quote unquote submissive women or things of that nature. Is he one of those guys?
I don't know. We're learning together. We're learning
Okay.
together.
Oh, Britt said he
Edna.
is red pill.
He is red pill. What's red pill?
Let me see if I can find a definition.
It's all right. It's Wellness Wednesday, so we can chill and just like, you know. Oh, okay. Hang on a
Right.
second. Bridge is in the know. He just got out of prison for trafficking women. Oh my God, did he?
Um,
Oh. See, now why is Google not telling me that then? Right. Hang on. Let's see. Are the Tate brothers from the UK? Oh, right. So he's got a brother. Are the Tate brothers innocent? Right. Let's see what it says here. The brothers have denied the accusations against them and maintain their innocence. Mr. Tate has called the case a conspiracy against him and framed himself as a martyr to his Twitter followers. Okay, but Bridge says he's been banned from all the social media. He sounds quite problematic, doesn't he, Edna?
yes, he does.
Um,
And if I yeah, that sounds about right. Like I haven't heard any good things about him.
oh, let's make it a bit bigger, then people can see what I'm checking. Right, so Bridges said misogynistic, men's rights, women need to stay in their place. Oh, oh, really? Red pill basically
Hmm.
means incel. Okay, that's interesting.
I'm
All
so over
right.
Elon.
Elon let him back on. All right. Right, okay. Piers Morgan just did a video with him. Now I've been binging videos about him. Okay. Oh, maybe I need to check this out. Um, what have who? Oh, there's three. There's three Tate brothers. Right. Who are the three Tate brothers? Right. Um, Andrew Tate, Janine Tate, Emery Tate. So it looks like Emery Tate's different to Andrew Tate. Oh, I don't know. Tristan Tate. Oh my God, they're taking over the world.
Huh.
Right, Wikipedia, that's better. Let's have a look at his Wikipedia page. That'd be easier. All right. Oh, bog off. I'm trying to watch that. Right, okay. So, yeah, he is Emery Andrew Tate. Okay. He attracted wider attention in 2016 when he appeared on Big Brother. Did he? I used to watch Big Brother.
Hmm.
I can't remember seeing him on there. He must have been a bit boring. Right. He was removed from the show after a video emerged of Tate repeatedly striking a woman with a belt. The two later stated the act was consensual. Really? He began
Hmm.
operating a cam girl business and selling online courses and rose to fame as an internet celebrity, promoting an ultra masculine, ultra luxurious lifestyle. Tate's misogynistic commentary has resulted in his suspension from various social media platforms. Oh, he made international headline. Do you know, I'm a bit worried as I get older, my memory's getting bad, and I'm like, shouldn't I have remembered this if he was on? He's mixed race. I didn't know he was mixed race. I didn't know who he was. So how am I gonna know
Well,
it's mixed?
I think that I just speak to him not really being that notable of a person.
Yeah. Right, okay. He made international headlines in December 2022. Tate and his brother Tristan were arrested in Romania along with two women. All four are suspected of human trafficking and forming an
Hmm.
organised crime group. That was only last year. In May 2023, all four were moved to house arrest whilst the investigation continued after being held in custody since their arrest. In June, they were charged with rape, human trafficking and forming an organised crime group to sexually exploit women. Tate and his brother deny all charges. Oh my God. Oh. Okay, so hey, that's where the name comes from, Emery, because I thought Emery's not really like an English name, is it?
Oh,
Is it?
okay. I'm not
And it's
either.
more of a sort of it. Yeah, I don't want to say what type of name it is, but yeah. Okay. Um. Right. So he was born in Washington, D.C. Wonder if he knows Clara. I wonder if he goes visiting, visits the attic or whatever. Anyway, there we go. You're digressing, Jan. Um, right, okay. His African American father, Emery Tate, was a chess international master, and his English mother worked as a catering assistant. He has a younger brother, Tristan, and a younger sister, Janine. He was raised in
Hmm.
Chicago, Illinois. Is Chicago in Illinois?
Yeah,
Okay, so Illinois is the state, is it?
right.
Okay. And Goshen, Indiana. After his parents divorced, his mother took both brothers to England. He was educated at Halyard High School and Luton Sixth Form College. Tate was raised in the Christian faith. Okay. So, all right. Quite interesting. So he's a bit of a bad boy. It sounds as if he's a bit of a bad boy. Um, so he received attention for his tweets describing his view on what qualifies as sexual harassment and the Harvey Weinstein sexual abuse cases, and for tweeting several statements about his view. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Oh,
Okay.
quite interesting. Quite interesting and rather concerning, but unfortunately, there are people like that about.
Sounds
Um,
like he's exactly the type of person that should be banned.
yeah,
Like these voices do not need to be amplified.
no, they don't. So at least we know who he is now. He's got involved in Romania somewhere. He moved from United Kingdom to Romania with his brother, where he runs multiple businesses. He said he moved because he liked living in countries where corruption is accessible for everyone. It, yeah, no, it's not my cup of tea, guys.
You know what's No, but you know what's really disturbing is like we always hear about these people running these like trafficking rings or what have you, but we never hear about like the patrons of these organizations. It's like their customer list never seems to get leaked. So
Oh,
it keeps
no.
happening because they're not actually going after the people. You know what I mean? Like it's so frustrating.
Yeah, I know. It's like they get, everybody else that's involved in it has some form of anonymity. Um,
Hmm.
eith you know, even though what they're taking part in is, like, utterly disgusting, they still get away with it, don't they? The people
Right.
that, join these organizations. I know exactly what you mean. Exactly, and,
And it's like I know they're not like, finding the girls or whatever, but them partaking in it is, you know, that's most of, like they're providing the money, they're keeping it going. So I don't understand why, it's not more being done for the Johns or what have you.
mhm. I don't know, I suppose it's because they're not caught, I suppose.
Mhm.
Let's see what chat's saying. Hi, Moosey. I think lots of younger men follow him and believe that is how to treat women. Oh, oh God, that's not good, is it?
Mm-mm.
So Bridge says, "Oh, I didn't know there were three of them. I just knew about Tristan. Yeah, apparently there's a sister as well. They haven't said much about the other brother, have they?" Uh, Barley says Romania. There he did the most shady stuff and got the most money from in. Oh, really? So you've heard about him, have you, Barley? His dad was black. Yeah, from America. Um, oh, Anonymous leaked a few customers from some of those websites. Do you know what's that? Hang on 1 sec. It was a huge deal because they did it with Ashley Madison. I don't know who she is. Do you know who she is,
That's
Edna?
it's the name of a website. So Ashley Madison isn't a person, but it was a website where people could go and like openly have affairs. Like it was known that these are married people looking to date.
Oh, right.
Hmm.
Oh. Do you know what? I mean, like we sort of like we get involved with the drama sometimes over here and that.
Just a
I
little
tell
bit,
you
yeah.
what, that pales into insignificance when you find out what else happens online. I watched this
Hmm.
video a while back, not that long ago, because I really like true crime, and I
Hmm.
watched this video, and it was like a Chris Hansen thing where they caught, this guy, but it is somebody else, and I can't remember the name of the blooming, I can't remember the name of the channel, but it's these guys that used to, track down, pedos, and,
Okay.
anyway, they tracked that they filmed this guy. The one I watched is they filmed this guy who, lived with his elderly mum, and I mean, he was in his
Hmm.
60s, I think, so the mum was like, in her 80s or something, and, they tracked him down, and what they would do is like, as soon as they got the guy, they'd get him to no, it wasn't To Catch a Predator, it was, similar to that, but it was a different group of people. It wasn't that. I'll see if I can find it, and what I'll do is in my community page, I'll link the video I watched. And what I
Okay.
found so frightening is that these men are amongst us, and not only
Hmm.
amongst us, they belong to these websites. Like he told these guys, because what they do is, right, these guys, although they're not the law, what they do is once they've sort of got the information out of them, they act as decoys, decoys. Uh
Hmm.
they pretend that they're one of their weirdos. Do you know what I mean? So they
Okay.
meet them and then they get them to spill everything, unknowingly, and then they call the police, and then the police come along and, arrest them. So anyway, I will link that video, but the frightening thing about that video was as the story was going on and he was saying how, he got into it and, "Oh, it was accidental. He just happened to be online and then he found himself on this website and blah de blah." Um,
Oh no.
and
Mm-mm.
but the
I don't buy it.
oh, I know, I didn't either. But the most frightening thing is there were thousands of men that had signed up to this video. That's what's so frightening.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I was like, "Oh my god, I don't believe it." So when whoever said about, why don't they ever sort of say who the other people are? I hate to say it, but I think there's so many of them that they couldn't possibly tell everybody, and they keep, it's like on that program, yeah, he was arrested. I can't remember what happened in
Hmm.
the end. But he was definitely arrested, but he was saying how, there's these well, they call it the dark web, don't they, for a reason. It's sick.
Hmm.
I tell you, it's absolutely sick what these, what's on here. And there we are over here squabbling over, this fat bird who, whatever. It's just ridiculous. And you get people, there's real organizations online where people sign up for, men. And I think, well, I don't want to say mainly men, but I should imagine it's mainly men. And it's
Yeah, I think so.
disgusting. I think it's very rare that it would be a woman, don't you? And I don't think
Oh,
that's being sexist thinking that.
no. Well, I mean, we do have Miss Barbie who allegedly did something inappropriate with her brother when he was just 5 years old.
Oh no.
So it happens, yeah.
I think it does happen. But I think it's very rare. I think it's, more often than not, it's men. But do you know what I'm thinking? Just as I was saying that, the
Mhm.
headlines were flashing before my eyes of these teachers that get involved with the kids. Do you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that
Yes.
quite often is women.
Mhm.
Tell you a secret, but I mean, you don't know where I worked or anything anyway. When I left my school, I kept in touch with, with a few teachers and everything. And then one
Mhm.
day, one of them said, "Did you hear about such and such, the maths teacher?" Right? I won't say any names. And I was like, "No. Why? What happened?" And it was a she, and she was a right stuck up so and so. I didn't like her very much, to be honest. Um,
Mhm.
but anyway, she'd been carrying on with a year. What year was he in? A year 10 boy, which would make him
Wow.
about year 10, makes him about 15. And I
That's
couldn't believe it. And the thing that really annoyed me more than anything was she got away with it. And the reason she got
Mhm.
away with it is because she had a young son at home. And I mean,
Mhm.
it went to court and everything, but because she had a young son at home, the judge said, "Oh, well, it'd be wrong to give you, custodial sentence." And also her husband was disabled. So
Oh,
she got
okay.
away with it. And he's like, "What?" I couldn't believe it. Honestly, I was like, "Oh my God." And the
I
thing is,
mean, I don't like, I hate like, I don't wanna be oh, hold on, you go ahead. Sorry.
no, it's fine. I'd finished really.
Well, I was just thinking, like, not to play devil's advocate because it's, like, inexcusable, but I can understand if the judge is weighing the situation, whereas it seems like when it comes to women, it's not just about, like, abusing random children. It's like a relationship. Like I remember the one woman who had a relationship with the guy. I think they're still together. Like she had his child, like they're a family.
Yeah,
And yeah, so it's like, well, putting her in prison isn't protecting other children, I think, in the same way it is with some men that, go out and abuse children and it's just like they don't stop. It's not like they just happen to find someone that they're interested in and they're underage. You know what I mean? Like, not to say that either situation is okay, but how long was it there? But they're yeah, I agree, Bridge. Either in either situation,
yeah.
ruining the child's
I'm with
life and
Bridge here.
development.
I'm with Bridge here. I don't think the sex of the predator or the
Oh no,
PDF
you're saying
is
she should have been in prison. Okay.
really, yeah. I don't think the sex of that person should have any bearing on whether they're sentenced or not. She knew what she was doing. It had been going on for some time. At the end of the day, she was acting like a predator. And I know people don't like saying, we're not allowed to say this word, we're not allowed to say that. But
No, yeah,
that's
you're
what she
right.
was doing. And it was
Mhm.
actually um the boy that what's the word? That told everybody. And it's because I think he told his mother. And it was
Mhm.
because he wanted out. He wanted out of this relationship,
Oh,
and I
okay.
think it got to
Yeah.
the stage where he was actually frightened, you know, he was
Yeah.
only, like, 15, I think. Um, so, yeah, I don't think the fact that that she had a young son or that she had a disabled husband should have any bearing on it whatsoever. If anything,
Mhm.
you could say, well, then she should, there's even more reason for her not to do it. Just no, there's no excuse.
Yeah, no, there is no excuse. I mean, I really have no words because I couldn't imagine even looking at someone that age. Like they're children. Like I
No.
see people in their early 20s and I'm like, you're children, you know? So
Yeah.
like how could you have any kind of appeal? Like it makes no sense to me.
Especially when you've got a son of your own. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's just madness. It's just absolute madness. So
Oh,
Bridget
is
says,
he
I
French?
know about the woman who had the kid. The dude is messed
Uh-huh.
up now. The woman died a few years ago. Oh, right. So Moosey
Okay.
says, did you guys ever have a crush on a teacher? Oh, I did. Yeah.
No.
I think I had several crushes. But I tell you what, if they ever sort of reciprocated in any way, I would have run. I would have run for the hills, you know.
Right.
Um, I think there's just lines that you just don't cross. Um,
Mm.
so Barley says it's not sexist to think more men sign up to these things. Women watch porn, but do not go so far to pay virtually to watch. Very rare. I'm open and modern and wouldn't think of it. Yeah. Um, yeah. I just think I don't know. I mean, when I found out about the teacher at my old school, I was, like, shocked, especially when you
Mhm.
know the people involved. I mean, the boy,
Right.
I must admit, he was a bit of a lad. I don't know if you know what that means. Um,
No, but I could
in
just imagine the way you're
in
saying it.
Britain, like, if you say someone's a bit of a lad, it means a kid who is a bit sort of full of himself, um,
Mhm.
thought he was the bee's knees and everything, but the teacher, I mean, if you lined up all the teachers at that school and said, which one would you think would be, would mess about with a young boy, you wouldn't think it was her. No way.
Like she wasn't young or something? Like, what made you say that? What
She
about
was,
her made her an unlikely person?
just because personality-wise, I mean, I don't know. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
who do you yeah, that's a good actually, that's a good question, Edna, because I don't know who I can honestly say I couldn't have expected any of the females in the school to mess with a boy in their class. It's just you just
Mhm.
don't sort of think about it. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I
Right.
don't know, but she I just felt that she wasn't very friendly. Like in the staff room, she wasn't one that sort of held court and sort of everyone had to sit and listen to. She was quite the opposite. And in fact, I think she used to quite often avoid going into the staff room because some teachers do. Some teachers don't want to go
Mhm.
into the staff and they want to have their lunch break, in the car or in their classroom or something. But, she wasn't overly, what's the word, sociable, put it that way. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what had happened and also that she'd got away with it. I just couldn't believe it. Um, I mean, she'll probably be on the child sex offenders register now, though, so she won't be able to teach anymore, hopefully.
Mhm.
But yeah, mad. Um, Lucy says, I did. Years later, after I got married and bought a home, guess who lived on the same street?
That's funny.
Really, Lucy?
Did you still,
How
like,
did
say
that
hi?
go?
Were you friendly? Yeah.
How did that go?
Did you still have a crush? That's a real question. Was he still good looking?
Probably not. I mean, my crush was on he's a sports teacher. Blooming obvious, isn't it, really, I suppose? Called Mr. Swain, I think it was. And I just thought he was really gorgeous, and he used to, like, teach PE. And, of course, he didn't teach me PE because I was a girl. And back in the day, I don't know if
Oh,
it's a
okay.
thing, but boys get taught by men teachers and girls get taught by female teachers, at PE, I mean. But he
Mhm.
did used to teach maths as well. So, it was the only time I enjoyed maths when I was at school, when he was taking the class. Um, Barley says, I had a crush on the sports teacher, and he and me also.
Wow.
Oh, what? He once called me in his office and closed the door, but nothing happened. After 10 years, we wrote
Mm.
love emails until I caught him. Really?
Wow.
Oh, God. You know what?
How
I'd have
old were you, Bally?
got him in trouble for that because
Sorry
that's
to
yeah. How old were you? Yeah. Quite honestly, I would have told the school about that because the thing
How
is,
old was
if
he?
no, I'm saying how old was she? I don't care how old he was. It's how old was
Well, I
she at the
think
time?
if you have, like, a really young teacher and they're in, like, high school, they can maybe be, like, 18, it's still not appropriate, but I don't think that's I don't know, is that
There's no
well, no, it's
excuse.
sad. No, it's no excuse.
I honestly believe there's no excuse. You know, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter for me, it doesn't matter what age because they're over, they've crossed over the boundaries and yeah, no. Um, yeah, even Bridget's gone, "What?" Barley. Come on, Barley, come back with the ages. How old were you? Right, Moosey says it was always an embarrassment for me. Thank God he didn't do anything back then. Yeah.
Yeah. You honestly, if someone mentioned something like that, I would think it would be funny or cute. Like, I would I wouldn't take it as not wholesome or but I just think it's like a childhood crush, you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't go anywhere, you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't take it seriously. It's funny.
Okay, so Barley says I was 15 when I was at school. I hated sport and he let me skip it at times. And when I didn't get to skip, he would perform exercises on me to demonstrate. All the kids laughed.
Mm. There are
Ah!
no teachers who are 18.
Well, I suppose it depends what exercises they were.
Oh, no, Bridge, I wasn't saying that the teachers were 18, the students. Like in high school, you have some people who are left behind or um, maybe are just um, they're seniors and they're 18.
There are no teachers who
And I
are
remember
18.
one
You
year I
have
had
to
a
have a
really young teacher.
degree, unless they were a genius and finished school early. Over here, I think yeah, no, you wouldn't have a teacher that young. You wouldn't. Not
Mm.
at not of
But I
18. And
no, no,
also,
not
I
18,
think
but
they're
I'm talking
very
about like
careful.
early 20s, like 24 maybe.
Yeah, but Edna, there's still no that's still no excuse.
Oh, no,
I
absolutely
know,
not.
like, in films sometimes, it's like, "Oh, it's romantic. She fell in love with the teacher, and then they ended
No.
up getting married." No, it's still wrong. It's still
Oh,
wrong.
absolutely.
That's it. That's what I'm looking for, a code of practice, a code of
Mhm.
conduct. Exactly. It's like, they're professional people. At the end of the day, they're employed as professional teachers. You don't it's like with doctors. Doctors shouldn't have affairs with their patients.
Right.
It's a code of conduct, absolutely. Hi,
Yeah.
Gia.
To be I don't
Nice to
even
see you.
consider high school. Yeah. Hi, Gia.
Yeah, what were you saying there,
No,
Edna?
like yeah, like even in high school, it's not something that um should happen. It's just they're children. They're little children. So it's not
Yeah,
it shouldn't be a question. Shouldn't be a conversation.
no, for me, it's just unforgivable, really. And I mean, I used
Mhm.
to teach. I've taught, in several instances, one-on-one, and it's never. I've never ever felt. I think, you have to be careful, but I mean, I'm just trying to think. I've been in a room with, like, 16-year-old boy teaching him, or
Mhm.
tutoring him, but, um, I think people are much more careful. I think, schools are much more careful, and, all these establishments are much more careful because it just seems that some people can't blooming keep their urges under control.
Mm. Oh, Bally says, oh, do you want to read Bally's
Yeah, it's
her
just having a
comment?
coughing fit. I was 15. Right, can you read this? Because I need to have a coughing
Oh,
fit.
sure. I was 15. It was in the private American school of Bucharest? I'm sorry. But he wrote me when I was 25. Okay. I mean, I don't know. He looked like Tom Cruise, young Tom Cruise. That's
So,
it.
mm, you were 15 in Bucharest, but he
Bucharest,
wrote
thank
you
you.
when you were, so he wrote you 10 years after. Doesn't sound right
Hmm.
to me. Anyway, I'm gonna go off and have a drink, so we're gonna have a break, and, I'll see you back in, if you can mute, Edna,
Yes,
and then
I'll mute.
we'll be back in a second. Well, actually, we're gonna be slightly longer break, so I can go and get a drink, go and blow my nose and everything else that I need to do. And then we'll be back. Well, that finished a bit sharpish. Let's get Edna back. There she is. Edna, we're back in the room, darling. That finished a bit
Hello, I'm
sharpish.
back. Hello.
Mm, what happened there then? Yeah, still coughing, but never mind.
Oh,
Uh, it's nice to have a bit of a break anyway, I think. Right, let's get
yeah.
back to the comments. Um, he looked like Tom Cruise. Was he tiny like Tom Cruise? The Bridget said, "Oh, Tom Cruise. Well, that's a different story. Did you write back?" I'm kidding. Um, excuse me. Uh, Barney says, "I did 2 times, but I didn't continue it as it was just a crush and cute of him to write me after so long. He didn't stop writing, but when I was 15, it was innocent, I think." Oh, that's interesting.
Right.
Interesting story. What do you make of that, Edna?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would expect, like, or that's the furthest thing that I would expect. I wouldn't expect him to write her after 10 years, but like, if you're an adult and a child expresses a crush, like, you should take it as an innocent way. Like, you shouldn't. I mean, there shouldn't be a question about it. Like, there shouldn't be any attraction or anything like that.
There should also be
Oh,
no communication. End of. That's it. You know,
you think
no
so?
communication whatsoever. Anyway, Edna at the beginning said, "Oh, how about this narcissist, this doc?" So, shall we have a bit of a chat about that tonight? Shall we have a look? Have a look,
Yes.
see? Because he is quite interesting. Um, and it gives me a bit of a break from talking. Don't know what it is. At night time, I always get like, runny nose and that. Right.
Okay.
So that was 3 years ago. Let's go to. He does do lives. Most of them are like. Oh, he's done one 5 hours ago. Now, what was the one
Oh,
that we were
wow.
going to look at last week and we didn't get round to it? Oh, okay, that's quite interesting. What about this one? Um, Narcissists don't think in normal terms. Shall we have a look at that? Yeah, are
Sure.
you happy with that, Moosey? Because it's quite interesting to look at other things as well while we're chilling. Um, so which one did I say? Right, so we've already seen that one. The anger between you and a narcissist. Which one shall we go for?
Hmm.
Uh, that one
What
then.
about getting the narcissist? Oh, okay, that's fine.
Sorry. That always happens, doesn't it?
No worries.
So let's this one. Oh, here I've got the wheel of. Come on, stop messing about.
Aggressive narcissist, and she's experienced much of it herself. But then she's written about it, and so if you haven't watched that, please do. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and tell you something that's a little bit vulnerable. Okay, I was watching that the tape of it. I actually taped it a couple of weeks ago, and I noticed I kept having a twitch in my eyes as I was talking with her. And that happens to me sometimes when I mean it actually has a little OCD element to it, and it happens sometimes when I'm tired. I had not had much sleep before. I mean, I'm not making excuses. It just is. And so it's like, well, there I was with my humanity on display. But nonetheless,
Mhm.
Debbie made it a great interview, and I so appreciate it. And we've already sent her a message saying that she's working on a new book, and so we're going to have her back when she has something else on. And she was such a delight. So just know that
Move on.
in our
Move
humanity, we
on.
bring ourselves to you
Right, here we
mask
go from
and
here.
love bomb other people, like neighbors, for example, right in front of you? Or do they just kind of forget about that possibility because they're so fixated on getting narcissistic supply from a potentially different source? And then this person goes on to say, my dad has always been real nice toward people outside the house, but treated my mom and I like dirt. Okay. So that we have a couple of questions here, and let's break it down. This person says, do they see how fake they are when they put on that mask? And the answer is nope, they don't see it. Let's keep in mind that as part of their narcissism, there is an element of being self-deluded. You've heard me refer many times to the phrase false self. False. Okay. They, way early on, before you ever showed up on the scene, they have concocted this notion that says, well, there's certain things that I want people to see in me. And of course, it's the good stuff. And then there are multiple things that I am not going to allow people to see. In fact, I'm not even going to admit it to myself. For example, if they have a bad temper, or if they lie a lot, or if they're.
But I mean, to be fair, I think
Right?
people are like that anyway, whether they're narcissistic or not.
Exactly.
So let's move on. How do you deal with verbal responses? How narcissists don't like to enter into what? How narcissists don't like to enter into their plan. Well, let's have a look at that then. Let's see what he's saying about that.
We
Hang
do
on,
call it
what
Delulu
Lucy
now.
said? We call it, what's that? We call it Delulu now.
Delusion.
Oh,
Delusion is Delulu.
all right. But I mean, it's like I said, don't most people do that anyway? I
I
mean,
think so. It's like you always want to put your best foot forward.
yeah, I think so. So anyway, let's see what he's saying here.
Pause right there. What I mean by that is when you're hurt or when you're angry, when you're disappointed, that reflects the type of pain that you're carrying on the inside. When you're yelling and when you're defensive, it's like, oh, something's going on there. And one of the things I've mentioned is that narcissists don't want to go into that space and say, I need to listen to what my emotions or what my thoughts are trying to teach me. They don't do that. So this person says, you mentioned how narcissists don't like to enter into their pain. That got me wondering in general, based on your experience, do vulnerable narcissists have an easier time entering into others' pain than malignant narcissists? And we're going to have, let's see, I think I have another.
Okay, he seems a bit garbled today. I don't think I've chosen the best one.
Okay. Because I think I have a narcissist in my life, and she sent me a meme like from Facebook, and I don't know how you feel about Facebook, but I kind of like I have a feeling about Twitter. I feel like, especially in girl world, it's a dark place. I don't want any parts of it. But Facebook has like a different kind of feel to it, vibe where I don't know. I feel like it's a bunch of misinformation, or I don't know. Like I wouldn't go there for entertainment or for information or anything. Or like I don't use Facebook. And she sent me a meme from Facebook that was basically like an emotional pool, like, oh, it's what really hurts is when you put your all into someone and they don't reciprocate, something along those lines. Like, what in the like, those are the kind of things where it's like, what do you do with stuff like that, you know? That's what I'm
Yeah,
looking for.
you
Because
look
what
at
is
it.
he
You look
talking
at it
about?
like it's a dig. Do you mean?
Right. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I think most people would. But then the thing is, if you said something to them, then they would say, "No, no, it's only a joke. What are you? Why are you
Oh,
taking it
no,
so
I did.
seriously?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, well, I just because the thing is, it's just like, okay, that's how you feel. Your feelings are
Mhm,
valid,
mhm.
but I address like essentially I address her concern and I explain like that's not gonna happen for X, Y, and Z, and I'm sorry that that upsets you. And she like
Yeah.
it was ridiculous, right? It was a ridiculous request that she made. So I think she kind of felt silly and she just kind of was like, okay, never mind, and just hung up. But it was just one of those things where it's like, are you serious? Like, is this what you're contacting me about right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Interesting. I excuse me. I don't know if you've been watching my series on the therapist. I
Oh yes, I've
try
seen some of those. Mhm.
Yeah, I try and get those out on a Monday because that way I've done like I've got a few uploads coming up in the week. So, and
Mhm.
I'm so into this now with her. And one of the things that I always get offended by is the fact that she misdiagnoses Megan. Now, I don't know whether you like her or not, or if people in chat like her or not, but
Meghan Markle?
yeah, what I
Oh,
find
I
of
guess I don't have anything against the woman. Yeah, she seems fine
yeah,
enough.
what I find offensive is that this therapist will, well, just constantly calls her narcissist. And the last one that I put up, she was actually calling her a psycho. She's a,
Wow.
yeah. And I thought, what? Um, and she's always saying, "Oh well, because she's a narcissist, she does this, and she abuses people and this, that, and the other." And I just find myself getting so worked up about it. So yeah, I've started doing them, and weirdly, I the last one I put up, I didn't get very many views on it, but I did put up a short, and I got like 3 times the amount of views on it. Um, so I'm going to be working on more shorts, I think, for that,
Okay.
because I, I hate when people, she says that she's a registered psychotherapist. Um,
Mhm.
and, I hate it. Excuse me. When these people use their qualification to diagnose somebody when they have no right to do that, because they haven't actually spoken to that person. They've not actually, been in physical contact with them. So they've got no right to do it. Excuse me. And it goes against the rules of their employment. So that's why I've been doing this series. So if you're interested, go ahead and watch the videos, because I put a lot of time and effort into them as well.
Yes, they're
So
very well done.
thank you. Yeah, they take, I start working on them normally on a Saturday and try and get them out for the Monday. Um, but yeah, I just find her so offensive. Yeah, she is. There is, a very big Meghan hate train. Um, and it's not for me to say who you like or who you don't like, but what I object to the most with her is the fact that she diagnoses her, and I don't think she has a right to do that. I just don't. So yeah, so that sort of ties in
No, absolutely not.
with, with what Dr. C is saying. So here he's saying this bit is I just wait for the advert to go. Come on, let's go. All right.
Okay, another question, and this is kind of succinct, but this is a good question as well. This person asked, what is this shame that narcissists have? Where does it come from? Now, you'll hear people like me and some of the others that I respect on YouTube and in their writings and all talk about how narcissism has a very strong shame component. And many of them, particularly the overts, but the coverts, they can come across as though, hey, I got life by the tail. I'm doing fine. Everything's great. Yeah, I've got some morons in my life, but my way of dealing with all of that is just dismiss them. And they don't necessarily reveal that they're feeling shame. But the way you know that they're really, really struggling with shame, and I have some notes. I think I've showed you. I've got a whole stack of papers here. I've got some notes on actually how you can learn how to see into a narcissist's self-loathing. You'll notice that narcissists will not, and when I say will not, capital, all caps across the board there. They will not let you know what their failings are. Or if they do let you know what their failings are, it's so they can complain about the person who made them miserable. But
Yeah. Absolutely. Um I think that the reason I like this guy is because I think I agree with, just about everything he says, really. And I believe him. I believe in his learnings. Um, and I think that's a really good point, that, narcissists do have a sense of self-loathing, and they project it onto the person, onto the other person. Yeah, I'm glad you find it interesting. It is. It is. Um, and what he's saying here is that, there's different types of narcissists. Um, and there's an overt narcissist, and there's vulnerable narcissists, and there's grandiose narcissists. There's many different ones. But I think the bottom line, the main core running through the mind of a narcissist is that of self-loathing.
But they can't go into a space that says, yeah, I'm a mistake maker and sometimes I blunder, because that would bring shame upon them. Narcissists inevitably, like you and me, because I had this when I was growing up, I'm sure you did, they're exposed to the judgment system. There's a grading system out there, and when you're very early, very young in your life, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, you realize that whatever you think, say, and do, somebody's going to stick a grade on it, and they're going to tell you if it's good or excellent or wonderful or terrible. And so that budding little narcissist may not have had permission to say, hey, let's talk about this. And they may not have had anybody say, let's walk through this in a way where we can find some sort of relief. That little child who later on can become a narcissist begins realizing, oh, so when you see me do this instead of this, you're going to grade me, aren't you? You're going to judge me.
Next time I'll put my microphone on before I speak. I actually do believe that narcissists are, I don't want to say they're born narcissists, but I think a lot of children show the first seeds of narcissism. And I believe it's the way that people respond to that child, which will determine whether they will become an adult narcissist. That's my belief. What do you think, Edna? Edna? Edna's gone off to the toilet. She's not put her mic on. Okay, so people in the chat, what do you think? Do you think that, yes, yeah, it does. It's in the development of the child, but I think also it's subject to to the environment of the child. So if the child is allowed to show narcissistic behaviors, then it just stays with them and possibly builds within that child, so that by the time they get to be, to be an adult, a teen, and then an adult, then they're full grown narcissists. That's what I believe. But I'm a firm believer in that a child's how can I put it? A child's environment and upbringing has an awful lot to do with how they perceive the world. And whereas some children will grow up and be totally level-headed and intelligent adults, caring, and wonderful adults. There are some children that are, for whatever reason, shown that through the actions of their parents, dare I say, or the people who bring them up, that that certain behaviors are rewarded, and that shouldn't be the case. I think, if a child is exhibiting certain behaviors such as narcissism, or any other ism, then it's up to the parents to get that sorted as soon as possible. That's my belief.
Right.
If they get rewarded for it, it will grow. Exactly. Oh, you're back, are you, Edna? I don't know what happened to you. You
Yes.
disappeared.
I don't know. I
So-
think maybe my computer overheated or something. I
Oh,
don't know.
okay. Okay. So, what do you feel about that, Edna? Do you feel that adult narcissists were probably uh, narcissists as children?
Yeah, I think okay. So where I'm at with like my theory, I guess, of like neurodivergence or what have you, I think, we're like on a spectrum from being like neurotypical to neurodiverse. And I think the more neurodiverse you are, the more likely or the more susceptible you are to developing like a personality disorder or what have you if you go untreated or undiagnosed. So
Yeah.
a lot of these narcissists, like I think that like they have like a natural like aptitude to kind of display these behaviors and things, but I think it's also reinforced by what they did or didn't get in their development.
I think in all human beings, I think that's a personality trait that we are born with, and I think
Hmm.
as I've said, without repeating everything, I think depending on how you're brought up and which behaviors are recognized as problematic and dealt with as a child, I think then it just grows. Because the thing is,
Right.
it's like the only child syndrome. I don't know if you're an only child, but I know with some only children, there used to be a thing, I don't know if it's still a thing, where people would say, oh, well, you could tell they were an only child because they're not used to sharing. Now
Right.
now that that kind of makes sense, really, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean that child is then going to grow up as a narcissist if they have the proper training as a child. So, if the child is an only child, if as long as the parents socialize that child and have lots of play dates, puts her into nursery school and encourages sociability within that child, then there's no reason why that child should grow up to be or would grow up to be a narcissist. Do you
Right.
see what I
Well, and
mean?
I think we look at people like with personality disorders or things like the I guess kind of the state that they're in when, if they're like at their worst or their traits are really they're like really presenting the narcissist traits or what have you as like they're in state. And people can improve and get better. Like I was watching a video that was saying basically you can go in remission of like BPD if you have a healthy relationship. So I don't think like just because someone's a narcissist means that they're like always a narcissist or that they can't learn to do better and behave better.
I think some people make the mistake of believing that, if somebody has a label, like, if you're labeled with having BPD or you're labeled with having narcissistic personality disorder, that um that's the person and that, there is a cure for it. I don't believe there is a cure for it. You can't have a cure for
Okay.
personality disorder. But what you can do is change your thought processes so that the triggers that would um, trigger a certain response from somebody with BPD or narcissistic personality disorder or any of the other personality disorders, if you can
Hmm.
change the thought process, then that's goes towards helping dealing or
Right.
helping
Well, I
to
mean, that's
deal
kind of
with that
effectively the same.
situation. But you can't, in my opinion, you can't, recover from BPD or recover from narcissistic personality
You
disorder.
don't think so?
No, no, I don't think you
Hmm.
can. It's not like chicken pox. Do you know what I mean? It's not like an illness. It's a personality
Right.
disorder, which means
But
that it makes up
do
your
you think
personality.
right, but do you think that people can change their personality, or you think your personality sticks?
I think that if you've been labeled as such, if you've been diagnosed as having a certain personality disorder, you have to look at it and see what the traits are that make you or that give you that diagnosis. Okay. Now,
Mhm.
in BPD, there are 9 traits, I think. Is it 9 or 7? And you have to have 5 of them. Now, it's very, very across the board. And it's like with everything, everything is about labels. And
Mhm.
I think, people don't seem to realize that a lot of it has to do with thought process and why you think that way. And it's it's to do with the brain, and if you think in a certain way, um, then you may show traits. Okay, you may show narcissistic traits, or you may show histrionic traits, or you may show
Mhm.
that you're emotionally unstable. But you can't cure that. You just have to learn to live with it and to deal with it, and hopefully to understand what it is that triggers you and why you think like that. You can change your thought process to a certain degree, but you can't completely change a disorder. No, I don't believe you can.
Hmm. I
Bridget
don't know.
knows
I think
quite a lot in the chat. What do you think, Bridge? What were you
yeah.
going to say there,
Same.
Edna?
Oh no, I've just seen people make the argument to the contrary. So I don't know. I think it's like I like the hope in being able to improve, to not, like be labeled or diagnosed with something and that be kind of it.
But
That's
don't
for
you?
sure. I like the possibility.
But don't you feel that? But it doesn't. Oh, okay. How can I put it? It's like with all the different disorders, they get, it's like a new phone. It's like a new smartphone. Every year they bring out another blooming, upgrade. And it's the
Mhm.
same with, for me, in my opinion, it's the same with mental illness. So, back in the day, you'd never even heard of ADHD or ADD. Okay.
Right.
Never mind a personality disorder, but nowadays, because people are so much more clever and have researched and studied so much, they come up with these new diagnoses such as BPD. Now, BPD is quite a problematic. Yeah, BPD is quite a problematic diagnosis, and one that some doctors are still uncertain about. And the reason for that is because what they've done is they've examined the two bipolars. Now, BPD is very similar to bipolar. Now,
Mhm.
one of the bipolars is psychotic. Okay. That's where the person has psychosis, has what do you call it? My mind's going everywhere now. It has psychosis and also hallucinations, and it's more difficult to deal with because it, they have to be medicated basically. Now the bipolar 2 is it's slightly different. People aren't psychotic with bipolar 2. Um, so but they do have highs and lows, which when you say highs and lows, that means mood swings. Now, the thing with the major difference between bipolar 2 and BPD is that the mood swings are much quicker with BPD, whereas with bipolar, they can take longer and they can last longer. Okay, so you're feeling down a lot longer whereas with BPD, you can be perfectly fine 1 minute, and then you get like a trigger, and then that's it. It's like, you've gone down, you know.
Okay.
So I think what they've done in order to come up with the to come up with the BPD diagnosis is to look at both of the bipolars and to, I don't want to sound flippant about it, but I think they've sort of picked certain aspects of both of them and put them under a different umbrella and put them under BPD, which makes it very confusing and it makes it very hard to diagnose as well.
Okay.
And that's why a lot of people are wrongly diagnosed. They're diagnosed with with BPD, when in actual fact, what they've got is bipolar 2. Do you see what I mean? It's difficult. It's BPD is a new diagnosis, relatively new diagnosis.
Okay.
Um, but there's like 7 or 9 traits to it. So let's see what Bridget says here. Yeah, from what I know, you can't change personality, but you learn tools to cope with it. Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. And one of the tools is to understand. One of the tools, right? I always believe, right? If you've got education, if you learn about something, then it helps. It helps your mind to work out what is going on. And, I always
Right.
go back to, fear of flying or fear of anything. Once you understand it, it alleviates a lot of fears. And it's the same with mental illness. Like, I know what my triggers are. I know when I don't perform well. So I can change that in that I can prepare. I can prepare myself for an eventuality, mentally, okay, so that when it comes, I'm not gonna be as triggered, or I've trained my mind to deal with it in a certain way. But, I mean, it's never gonna go away. You're always gonna
Right.
have that, or I'm always gonna have that, but I think, the more you know about it, the more you can, learn the strategies. Yeah, it's all about training and skills. That's what it is. But that doesn't really alleviate the disorder. It doesn't alleviate the personality disorder. I don't know where you read that. Where did you read that? That BPD or whatever is
It was a video. It's his name is Dr. K.
Dr.
I
Tate.
think his name. I think his YouTube channel is The Healthy Gamer. I don't remember exactly because I don't think it was like a video. I think it was like buried into a video, so I couldn't point you to the direct video where he said it. But it was something along the lines of you could essentially be in remission with a healthy relationship. And then I've heard other people, just talk about how you can change your personality.
No, I don't believe that. Oh,
Really
okay.
did.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you know, I was gonna say to you without being rude, what makes you believe that what he says is right?
Um, I mean, he's a psychiatrist, but
A
I don't
psychiatrist.
necessarily think it's
Okay.
like necessarily right. I just think it's an interesting point of view.
Yeah. So maybe you're looking. Okay, and I have to be careful how I say this. Do you think that you're looking for Right. Do you think that you're looking for that answer? Because eventually you'll find it. It's like I saw something the other day and they were saying, if you if you want a question answered, or you want a question answered in the way you want to hear the reply, there's many ways you can do it online. So I'm wondering if that's what you have done. Oh, he's counseled some of the bigger YouTubers. There's a lot of videos on him and his practices. People say he's exploitative. Right, so I'm going to Google are personality disorders curable? Right, okay, let me share this with you.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying that he said that it's curable, but it's like he alluded to you can essentially not have to deal with the disorder anymore.
See, I can't believe that. Can a personality disorder go away? Is personality disorder a mental illness? Yes, it is. I can answer that. Personality disorder is a mental health condition where people have a lifelong pattern of seeing themselves and reacting to others in ways that cause problems to the wider community, I would say. People with personality disorders often have a hard time understanding emotions and tolerating distress, and they act impulsively. Maybe. Can a personality disorder go away? Right, most people improve considerably, but you may always struggle with some symptoms of borderline personality disorder. You may experience times when your symptoms are better or worse, but treatments can improve your ability to function and help you feel better about yourself. So, yeah, that goes back to what I was saying, in that you can't, you, it's not curable. Do you know what I mean? You just learn. You
Right.
just learn how to deal with it. Um, right, right. Is personality disorder a form of autism? First, oh, this is interesting. Autism. Right, is personality disorder a form of autism? Autism spectrum disorder, ASD, and BPD are two conditions that at first glance might seem to have very little in common. ASD is a neurodevelopmental disorder that that's mostly diagnosed in males, whilst BPD is a personality disorder primarily diagnosed in females. Okay, why do you think, I'll put this out there, why do you think BPD is mainly diagnosed for women?
Sexism?
No.
Why? What do we think?
Sorry, I was reading this. No, it's not mood swings. I think because men can be just as moody, can't they? I personally think, and I'm not a psychologist or anything, but I personally think it's because of men drive us crazy. That's more like it. Of all the traumas, sorry, of all the personality disorders, BPD is the one that is trauma based. So if you've had many traumas, then, and you've got a mental illness, it's more than likely it's going to, be BPD, basically. So I think that's why more women have it, because, and I'm not saying that men aren't, I'm not saying that men aren't likely to have BPD, but as it says here, I think most men do not have BPD. There are some men that have it. I know people that I follow on Twitter on my other account that have BPD. they have it quite badly. They have it quite severely. I actually, although I've been diagnosed with it, I don't have it that bad. Okay. Mine is exasperated by the fact that I also have anxiety and depressive disorders, but I don't have the other things that some people with BPD have. Thankfully, I don't have
Right.
the I've never self-harmed in my life. And so I realized that although I've obviously must have it, um, I don't have it to that degree. Now, some people that I follow with BPD, they have it so badly. And they just have different, it's a bit like a jigsaw puzzle, you know. And my one's actually not too bad. I've been quite lucky. I'm quite happy. I've got the histrionics, but that's enabled me to do what I've done in the past. That's why I've been able to be a performer and and to be creative. That's part of it, and that's what you find with a lot of performers. They do have a lot of them do have mental illness, and it helps them. It helps them perform.
Right.
Um, but
I don't
some
necessarily
people,
think it's the mental illness. I think it's the neurodivergence, and the mental illness develops from like untreated or unmanaged neurodivergence. But that might just be a Edna
you love that word, and
theory.
I've never heard it. I've never heard it. I've never spoken about it. Um, I have it. You have BPD, do you, Barley? Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. I have it, but I think that is needless to say because here are only smart people. And if they know me a little, then they know I have BPD. Do you know what, Barley? I don't judge. I don't judge. The only time I will speak up on somebody's mental health is if I feel that they're using it as an excuse for bad behavior. That's the only time
Mhm.
I really speak up on it. Um, but yeah, it's interesting that you've also got it. I hope you handle it well. I really do. And I do understand now that I know for sure, I do understand your issues with your past. And yeah, totally 100% understand that. So, Barley, if you ever do need to speak to me, come and speak to me. Okay. Because I do understand it. So, yeah. Uh, a lot of girls aren't diagnosed with autism because they are taught to mask it. Girls are more
Right.
sociable and are taught at a younger age and to be with other girls. One of the symptoms of autism is not being as social. Yeah, I'm not autistic. I'm oh, I'm not autistic. Open the door a bit. I'm getting warm. Um, but yeah, I'm not. No. Right, hang on. So, what else is there? Is there anything else you want me to read about while we're on this page? See, this pisses me off. This bit, right?
What?
Right,
Can
hang on.
people?
Let's get this.
Oh, okay.
It says, it says, can people with BPD love? Even though they can be challenging to be with, many people with BPD are highly empathetic. Thank you. Thank you. How many times have I said I'm empathetic? Intuitive, yes. Loving, yes. And powerful, yes. Loving someone with BPD, sorry. Loving somebody with BPD requires strengths and skills, but it comes with its own gifts and rewards. I tell you what, part of my problems is because I've loved too much. Trust me. So it does annoy me when people say, oh, if somebody's got BPD, then, they can't love. That's a whole load of crap. Oh, look, do borderlines ever apologize? See, this is what really pisses me off. The stigma. I hate it. This is your fault, Edna. Apologizing is a crucial component of all healthy relationships. And for individuals with borderline, it can be a vital part of managing their disorder and maintaining their relationships. Okay. I can apologize. I can apologize. I don't have any issues with apologizing. Can a narcissist love? Okay, let's check that out. Let me put that in here. Right. Oh, where's that K come from? Can narcissists love? Narcissists can and do love, but their love tends to be superficial and fleeting. Oh dear. They can develop intense emotional attachments, even appearing to fall in love, and yet still maintain a complete lack of empathy for the object of their affection. Hmm. See, I'm the other way. I'm the other way around. I have too much empathy.
Mm.
Yeah, and I hate it. Hate it, guys. I just yeah. If there's one thing that I dislike the most, I'd say about my disorder, I would say that the empathy is probably one of the hardest things. It's horrible.
Really?
Yeah,
You
because
think you're like because you're misunderstood about it, or what makes it what makes that most difficult?
you feel other people's pain all the time.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can still remember back in the day, when I was a kid, I can still remember times when and I think that's probably when my BPD really sort of started. So that would be round about, let me think, round about when I was 11 or 12, and something really horrendous happened to me. And that's when I think my BPD kicked in because I was literally petrified of things.
Mm.
And I would see people and be so upset about them. Um, it's really hard to sort of put it into words, but something oh no, I don't really want to share it, but I know that there were instances then where I used to feel somebody else's pain so much. It had a really bad effect on me mentally. And that was as a child. So I think as I've grown up and I've still kept that sort of empathy, um, yeah, it's hard to live with it. I thought I explained it once. You probably weren't paying attention. Um,
No.
but I did sort of explain it. I remember as a kid reading a book once, because I used to read a lot, and I was reading this book, and it was about I think it was called Avalanche or something like that, and it was like a kid's book, if you like. It's probably like a teenager's
Mhm.
book, and it was about like this town in Switzerland that was absolutely, deluged. Is that the word? Deluged? I don't know. Um, this avalanche, sort of engulfed the whole village, and loads of people died, and all the children that survived the
Oh.
avalanche ended up going into an orphanage.
Mhm.
And I can still remember the book to this day, and that's many years ago. So that had such a profound effect on me. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's weird to sort of put it into words, really,
Right.
but and there have been instances as I've got older
Hmm.
where things have, just had such a profound effect on me. Right, hang on a minute. See what Barley says. Steve, what? Steve go take from my mama. Steve got that from his mama,
Or his
but
mom
she can
from
hide it. Okay,
Oh,
sorry,
Steve got it
Barley. I
from his
missed.
mama.
Okay, okay. He got what from his mother?
It's
Sorry,
like, who needs a
Barley.
quiz? We got a puzzle right here.
But she can hide it, as you said. It is not so obvious on her. But also because she is at her age, if one doesn't spend a lot of time with her, one notices. Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, did I answer that enough for you, Moosey? Or do you want me to read a bit more? It says here, can a narcissist ever truly love someone? Yeah, they can. Um, can narcissists be good people? I believe they can be. Shows right. Research suggests that for some people, a healthy amount of narcissism may be beneficial by promoting persistence and ambition and protection against depression. Though high levels of it can negate these benefits and may be linked to narcissistic personality disorder. See, there's a difference between being narcissist or actually having the disorder.
Mm.
Uh, uh, and you don't ever want to cause that pain to anyone else. That's it. That's exactly it.
Mhm.
That's exactly it. Uh, especially to people that you love. I'll tell you something. I mean, I shouldn't
Right.
really because the wrong people are probably be listening. But I was in a very bad relationship, and you know, and when my kids were young, and I used to get like battered and everything, and I remember going to counselling at the time, and she said to me, "So what were you like as a kid?" And I said, "Oh God, I was a maniac, I didn't take any crap from anyone, and I had a violent temper. I used to always get in trouble for my temper in the home, and I can still remember one instance where someone annoyed
Mhm.
me at the breakfast table. I was never very good. Never very good in the mornings. And I was at the breakfast table, so there's like 6 kids around the table and maybe one adult, I can't remember. So we sat around the table and someone really annoyed me. So I stood up and just flipped the table. Like you get these memes of people and they sort of throw the table. That was me. There were times in my childhood where I had no control over myself.
Wow.
And I just had like a violent temper, but there was a reason for that.
Okay.
Um, that they weren't
I
really
bet that
interested.
felt good though.
Pardon? What did you say?
I said, I bet that felt good.
Um,
I said, I bet that felt good. Like the
no, not
flip the
really.
table over.
It was at a time when I was going through a lot, and yeah, I didn't have
Oh,
any
okay.
sort of
Oh,
control.
okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a good time. I wouldn't say
Outlet.
it felt good, but it is just that at that time, I just wouldn't take any nonsense from anybody. I think I'd got to this stage, in that part of my
Mhm.
childhood, which was, very early teens, maybe 12, 13, when I just maybe 14, I don't know, when I just wouldn't take anything from anyone, but that was because of what I'd been through in the past. So, I don't know
Right.
why I was telling you that story now. Um,
Well, you know what, Jen? I don't blame you. Well, the thing is, people will try you even as a child. And I remember there's been situations maybe with teachers where like I don't know, maybe I was wrong, but I felt like I was right. And I never like flipped the table or something, but I definitely like stood up for myself and let it be known like how I felt. So, like when you can't beat yourself up for, not doing it in the most healthy, in the healthiest way, but it's like
when I
I don't
look at
know. It's like
myself
Just because you're a child,
Yeah. When I look at myself at that age, I realise
Mhm.
that I was just screwed up then. Do you know what I mean? Um, but for
Right.
me, I felt that I was very much on my own. I've always felt that I've been on
Mhm.
my own. And that's why I'm happy to be on my own. I don't need, it's like, getting to like, this sort of community stuff. Oh, well, they want all people, they want to join this clan and that clan. No, I've always been on my own and I've always looked after myself. Now, as a kid,
Mhm.
I think the only way that I learned to do that was to fight. Like, when you go to secondary school, you're always going to get people that, think that they're it. Now, I'm not saying that I went into school with boxing gloves on, ready to fight. But what I'm saying is, when I was at school, if there was ever an issue, I would never, ever back down, ever. Um, whether it was,
Mhm.
a teacher or
You won't start a fight, but you'll finish it.
yeah, yeah. And I used to blooming have to have fights for the other kids in the home because there wasn't many like me. There wasn't many like me. And I don't know
Mhm.
where I got that sense of invincibility. Did I feel that? And I don't even know if I did. But uh, yeah, I guess in a way, I did feel kind of. I, I,
I think when you're a
I
child,
think
you're just young and you're
I just didn't care at that time. Do you know what I mean? And although I had friends, I had lots of friends, but
yeah.
I was more of a floater. So I would I used smoking at that age. So I had I'd go to like the smokers corner um in the playground. I don't know if they still had that,
Mhm.
when you sort of go behind the bike
Oh my
shed and
gosh,
sit
y'all was
down.
smoking on the playground?
Yeah. I used to go behind there and have a
Jen, how
cigarette.
old were you?
I was probably about 14. I think I started smoking at 13, but I think for the first year it was just the odd one, and I was still
Oh.
feeling a bit sick when I had one. So I didn't, I wasn't on
Mhm.
20 a day or
I
anything,
bet.
but it was back in the day when
Right.
you used to be able to buy 1 cigarette from the shop. So, I mean, they weren't
Oh,
meant to sell
wow.
you them. But yeah, there was a shop near the school where you could go in and buy 1 cigarette under the counter sort of thing. Yeah, back in the day, there was a smoker's
Wow.
corner in the playground. And I mean, I don't know how we thought that the teachers didn't know because
Yeah,
there'd
that's
be
like the
quite a
craziest
few of
thing.
us.
That is so funny.
Really? There'd be quite a few of us
Oh,
though.
man.
But I was in quite a
You
few sort
know,
of.
like, when I was a kid, we had candy cigarettes.
You had
So,
what?
that's the closest I got to smoking, until I was candy cigarettes. You would, like,
Oh,
puff on them,
right.
and it had, like, powdered sugar that would come out that looked like smoke.
I
Yeah.
remember them. I would probably say
But I don't think you can even have something like that now.
no, probably not. Candy cigarettes, yeah, I remember those. But I remember, I think, in my early teens when I did smoke, it was only, when I got the chance to. I wasn't sort of I don't think I was addicted or anything. But, yeah, at break time, when I was that was when I was living in Finchley. So how old was I then? About 12? No, yeah, 13, 14. So because of that,
Hmm.
I had a lot of older friends as well. So yeah.
Okay.
So I used to hang with them, but then I also had the girly groups who, always think they're it. But I never used to. I was a tomboy, you see. But I was very into
Mhm.
sports as well. So yeah, I was all right, but I was very much a loner. Even though, I was brought up in a home with, like, loads of other kids, I was still a loner. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way you are, isn't it?
Right.
But were you an only
Right.
child, Edna?
You know, it's so funny. Uh, I guess no, but yes, like I'm the only child of my parents. Like I have half siblings, so but I didn't really grow up with anybody. So in a way, I am. At this point, I do consider myself an only child.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's quite interesting. I mean, I always thought it sounds silly, but I think I always felt like I was an only child, kind of, because I think when you grow up in a home, it's a home. Do you know what I mean? Because you haven't got a mum and dad and, like, a little house. You
Mhm.
sort of live in a
Right.
great big house and, on lots of land. So, um, yeah, you sort of know. You get to a certain age where you know that it's not the norm to live in that way, but that you get a certain amount of security from that. That's where I got my security. To the point where, I was meant to be adopted or fostered out a couple of times, once at the age of 6, I think, and I couldn't stay there. I just couldn't live in a normal sized house because I was so used to being, like, in a great big house. But,
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting. Anyway, guys, I've been talking for too long, so I'm gonna head out of
That is
here.
interesting.
It's been fun just
I
sitting
was
here.
just okay.
Now, what were you gonna say, darling? What are you gonna say?
Well, I mean, it's gonna take us into a whole nother conversation maybe, but I was watching The Handmaid's Tale, for no particular reason. I just got in like I've started watching recaps of shows and movies that seem interesting because I don't want to spend the time to watch the full. Anyway, just besides. So I'm watching The Handmaid's Tale, and at a certain point, there's this baby that it's like the community baby. Everybody's raising it. Like it's so weird because it's like who's the mom, who's the dad, whatever. But it they're I mean it's have you are you familiar with The Handmaid's Tale? The Handmaid's Tale.
No, no,
It's
but
this
I'm
like
getting an
dystopian
idea.
society. Yeah, and it's essentially the birth rate, like people or there's a lot of infertility, so they come up with this convoluted system and like based off of religion to kind of like to continue having children. And it's really messed up where they use handmaids. And so
Oh,
the handmaid yeah, and the handmaid got pregnant and so um she didn't want her baby to grow up in that system, so she, basically sent it off to be raised with her husband and, like, her friends that made it out, and it was just kind of bizarre, but when you think about it, like, it doesn't have like, there's all kind of families in it, it takes a village to raise a child, so who's to say
mm,
that, you really even need to have, like, a quote, unquote, "mom and dad," like, what we consider, like, a family structure.
yeah.
As
Yeah,
long as,
that's
all your needs are
interesting.
met. Yeah.
I'll have to do a bit of research on that. Bridget's heard of it. She loves
Mhm.
it. So I mean, is it a fictional program?
Yes, it's fictional, but it's based off of, like, different occurrences that like, it's fictional, but it's probable, if that makes sense. Like, it's everything like, when you string it all together, it sounds crazy, like it would never happen, but when you look at, like, individual components, it 100% can, and in many ways, it does happen. Like, when you look at reproductive rights in the US and just kinda like the fight for that, that's kind of a component of it. In this society, women have no rights, so it's gone to, like, the complete extreme, but it's not something that I think is like impossible because we see it in other countries.
Yeah, yeah. And other sort of communities as well.
Hmm. So it's it's something that maybe it like on the surface wouldn't be like advertised that women can't work or like it basically regressed to I hear that like women couldn't have their own bank accounts into the late 70s. That's
Mm,
crazy to me, but
yeah,
that was just yeah. Yeah, exactly. Once mom moves, they take away one right at a time until there's none left for us.
yeah, I know. Listen, I think we're gonna have to
Mm,
save that for another day.
yes,
But that sounds really interesting. So maybe I'll do a bit of research on that and we can have a deeper discussion on it next week. So it's called The Handmaid's Tale. I'll
yes.
definitely check that out because it does sound really
There's,
interesting.
yeah, I think there's like 5 or 6 seasons of it, so you have plenty to go through.
Yeah. Oh, my kids are always telling me things to watch. Yeah. I, and then I get really stuck into them and I get nothing done because I'm too busy, watching. It's so easy to binge watch things, isn't it?
Right, that's why I love the recaps because it's like I watched the whole movie in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it is so funny because
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, spoiler alert, spoil it for me. I don't want to waste 2 hours." You know what I mean? I have
Yeah.
such a short attention span sometimes, so it sounds crazy, but like I really
Mm.
enjoy the recap. Like I remember there was this guy on YouTube that would do such a good time or such a good job of recapping a reality TV show. I can't even remember the name of the show, but he did such a good job with his editing and his commentary. I preferred to watch the show. And I think that a lot of people felt that way because the show actually came after him and like took him down for like copyright infringement or something like that. It was really
Yeah.
sad. But
Yeah.
people are talented.
Probably because
So
he was
anyway, I say
getting
that to
too
say,
good at it and people weren't bothering to watch the full show. That's probably why.
listen,
Th
it
these
was so much
TV
better than
shows are
watching the
so
show.
these TV shows are so precious, you can't even play even, 5 minutes of something without getting a copyright strike. It's really annoying. So,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
driven us to watch Miss Barbie.
I think
We
we'll,
have to find Miss Sorry, I'm gonna shut up. It's been great, guys. Talk to you later.
you're all right there, Edna. You okay? Right, so, lovely having you on as usual. Thanks for coming on, sweetie. Always nice chatting to you. Um, so guys, Friday, Drama Friday. There's so much going on. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to be discussing, but I'm sure we'll discuss quite a lot. There's a lot going on. Trust me.
Are we talking about the bodega?
Probably. We'll talk about whatever. Do you want to talk about the bodega?
No,
I
you
don't.
know what? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know an awful lot about them, but there's just so much silliness, I try not to get too caught up in things because
Hmm.
it's just so much of it. But I mean, it's like your mama keeps putting his foot in his mouth every 5 minutes. It's like,
Oh, what do your mama say now?
oh, we'll discuss it all on Friday, but he just does.
Okay.
He just, every time he opens his mouth, he puts his foot in it. And I'm like, but I've spoken about him like on the last two, so I don't want every week to be talking about him.
Right.
But yeah, I just think he's getting deeper and deeper into it, and I think he's showing I don't know, he's showing his cards a bit more often, and I just think he needs to tread very carefully. And yeah, anyway, let's
Hmm.
save that for
I
Friday.
heard I heard Husky got his channel taken away. Oh my star.
Yes, he did. I'm
Yeah,
not
I heard that there
surprised.
was some drama with Hannibal. Did
There's
we know what
drama with
happened with
Hannibal?
Honeyball? That's what I heard. That's what was in the YouTube streets, but I don't know.
With who? Who's Hannibal
I
fighting
don't know,
with?
Jen.
Well,
I
you
just
can't
heard that
just
like
drop that into the middle of our lounge and then go running off. Even
nope.
Bridge doesn't know. Look, she's like, what? What? Hannibal?
What's a little teaser for Friday?
Yeah. Yeah, we need to do drama. I haven't got the energy to do Drama Friday now. Stop it. Let me go with my uveitis. I saw that, Bridge. Do you know what? We're not even haters, but I tell you what, sometimes he just needs to be told. He needs to be told.
Oh,
So maybe we will say something on Friday because yeah, he's mad. It's just all madness. I'm sorry, but I really don't want this channel to turn into like, we're slagging off Yo Mama every week. I don't want to
right.
do
Because
that.
that's not the case.
But he makes it very easy for me though. It's like, oh shit, he's done that now. Anyway, I'm out of here. You let me go. Are you gonna let me go now, Missy?
I'm done. Good night.
Yeah.
Sweet dreams.
Okay, lovelies. I'll see you on Friday. You take care of yourselves out there. Because I tell you what, it's a bloody rotten old world. Bye bye for now.